What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of DGT Live. I'm Leo.
Rick.
And
Francisco.
Very disappointing, Rick.
Presenting to you.
Super bright.
What? What are you
No, you know what? No, it's this monitor. It's this monitor.
Never monitor.
Don't listen to Rick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a live show.
Live.
We present to you from a family-friendly perspective about gaming, movies, and pop culture on a weekly basis every Monday night, live at 7 p.m. Pacific time. If you don't know, this is what it is and what it will be.
Now you know.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for all your support in each one of our videos. Guys, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff.
Whoa.
We had the Video Game Awards happen.
Yeah.
Lots of announcements there. We'll get to those in a few moments.
Oh, yeah.
We also had the PAX event that Sony puts on. A lot of stuff. Well, not so much, but some stuff happened there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, I just want to say I'm pretty proud of you guys.
What?
You guys had something going on that I was not a part of. And this is our first show back since then.
Oh!
Yes.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Talk to our lovely
the
viewers
Christmas
at home.
decorations. I mean, yeah, that's awesome.
But that's all a bunch of. That's not me.
I'm like, no, yeah, we attended the Heroes and Villains Fan Fest in San Jose, California. And yeah, Leo was not able to attend. But we made do with what we had. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you saw our coverage. If you haven't yet, a few videos back. Pretty interesting stuff.
Go check it out.
One of those cons where you actually get to interact with celebrities more than any other cons. So that was cool.
All right.
We got to meet some celebrities.
Now, when you say interact with them, like what kind of interactions do they have?
Well, you know how when we go to like Fanime and Nax, I mean, there's panels, but there's like more like the fans making them for other fans. Like, I don't know.
The best way that I can kind of summarize this is comparing it to Fanime, where their slogan is for fans, by fans kind of thing. This is kind of like more for the celebrities to get to know their fans.
Yeah,
it's
from
kinda,
celebrities to the fans, I guess.
It's kind of like the opposite way. So, yeah, of course, you're going to see a lot of fans. You're going to see some cosplay, not as much as other places. There are some the exhibit stuff that they had for sale. The art hall or whatever, the art hall
exhibit.
Or whatever. But yeah, it's mainly so that the celebrities
were walking by.
Yeah, they're just up and down. They're taking their photos. They're taking their time to actually meet you, their fans.
Oh, the celebrities are meeting and greeting with.
Well, I mean, they got their stands where they have like a specific time of when they're going to be signing autographs, taking photos, and stuff like that. So obviously, you can talk to them and meet them there. Aside from the fact that they're actually moving to and from their trailer room,
they're
so
not
to speak.
hiding. I mean, they do have handlers. There's people around them, but they're not just like, oh, don't let the guys see me. Like they're just walking like nothing.
Oh, like at Stanley's Comic-Con where like
like how they're hiding.
Major celebrities, they come from behind the curtain. These guys, they come from within the crowd
on the floor.
Oh, that's
like
really cool, man. That's really cool.
I keep forgetting his name. John
Leguizamo.
Malcolm Merlin.
Leguizamo.
Barrowman, yes.
So that guy, it was one of his panels, which unfortunately we didn't get to cover. He said it at the end. He's like, someone asked the question, "Can I take like a selfie with you?" They're like, "No, I'm sorry. That's a policy rule because they're doing photo shoots for
photo ops
for people, charities and whatnot that they're charging people. So it wouldn't be fair to the other ones that are paying." He goes, "But if you happen to be walking in front of me and you have the camera facing this way, then I'm not gonna stop by going, hey!" Like he himself said it, so they're just out and about in the crowd. They just can't stop and like, oh, let's do the selfie thing and all that. But it was cool. It was an awesome experience. It was nice. Very different from the other cons that we've covered, but it was still definitely something that sort of an achievement that I like that we actually did cover.
Nice. Proud of you guys. Proud. I saw some of that content that you guys put up.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys. proud of you guys.
So moving on.
While you guys were over there, I just want to say
moving on.
Big shout out to my daughter. She's building the future.
Oh, that is the reason why he didn't go.
The reason why I didn't go, I was at a robotics competition. My daughter's first ever robotics competition. I'm planning on turning all this into like a real life Voltron.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
we don't really know it yet.
In the near future,
sometime in the future,
when robots take us over,
Skynet takes over,
we'll build Voltron together.
As long as they defend the universe,
and
I'm cool with it.
I just wanted here in front of all the people watching on the internets. Wanted to invite you guys to be the green
plural
or pink tigers.
There wasn't actually a pink
I'll let you guys
tiger.
fight over it in a cage match.
I'll take the green one.
Moving on.
Moving on.
What do we have up here, Ricardo?
Well, you kind of already showed the people what it was. 30th anniversary for Street Fighter. How stoked are you guys about
I
this?
am. I will tell you why. So this is gonna be an edition with all the Street Fighter games up into before Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 is not included, but every other game since before Street Fighter 4 will be included in this edition. And I'm just stoked because we will finally get a proper release of the Street Fighter 1 game without the need of emulators. So I'm stoked because of that. I will gladly pay $60 for just that game alone.
Wow.
So the other ones, Street Fighter 2 to Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Alphas, all those are bonuses for me. But the one I'm excited for is the first one because that was one of the first arcade games that I played as a kid. And it's nostalgia, brings good memories. So I'm excited about that.
I don't know about paying the full
Arguably
price.
the greatest fighting franchise of all time.
Well, this is basically what started it all. I mean, this goes back to the roots of our childhood and,
Right.
fighting games and arcades and, lining up and fighting one
I'd
another.
like
Put in
to
your
say
coin.
The game that started my interest in fighting games was actually I don't remember what it was called, but it was like two karate masters, one guy wearing a red gi, and the other one wearing I want to say white gi.
On Nintendo?
It's in the Bloodsport movie. Remember they playing that game?
I don't know.
It's like here. It's very rudimentary by today's standards.
Don't
Alright.
recall. Don't
Alright,
recall.
cool.
Well, that was like the first game that I recall seeing, and that was a fighting game.
I remember.
and I liked it, but it wasn't that great. Street Fighter took it to the next level, though. It became hot like fire. Mainstream.
Hot like fire.
Yeah.
Quick little side story. I don't know if it was a knockoff Street Fighter or what gave the idea to make Street Fighter. There was also a fighting game that just had two big old buttons, player 1, player 2. And all you had to do was just basically like mash on the buttons. And depending on how intense or how hard you press on them, that's kind of the hardness, the hit that the guy was going to make.
All right.
My brother was like all into that game. I remember one time he was playing it. He's all, getting his groove on, whatever. And he had preloaded a couple of quarters credits, to fight, in case he dies. And I'm just like, hey, buttons, player 2. And he's like, no, like he got all mad because I was, he was actually winning and it was like a hard game to
You were
play. I
the
guess.
idiot little brother.
Here comes a new challenger.
Yeah, basically.
thing, yeah.
Oh,
It was
man.
Yeah, so this gets released on May of next year, May of 2018.
I don't know, guys. I'm not too. I mean, I enjoy the Street Fighter franchise. I do remember from way back in the day, but if I don't get it, it's not just.
Oh, I'm kidding.
not gonna
I
hurt.
think
Pre-order.
what's cool about this is
Pre-order.
it's on the go, on the Switch.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
think
yeah.
that's the biggest novelty because all these games are already on consoles like
Well,
I
it will
think,
also be released for
PS3.
PC.
Yeah.
PC,
Like PS3,
Xbox, all the major
that.
systems, basically.
Well, he's saying the bonus is on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
is
You
on
can
the
take
go.
it.
Yeah,
over.
that's-
Oh,
so
I'll
that's-
probably get it for the PC just so that we can have DGT plays
Oh,
on Fridays.
Hey,
yeah.
I like that.
Maybe,
Hopefully they'll be able
maybe.
to do the cosplay thing work because this
Hopefully.
is one of those games where I don't think it would matter that much.
Yeah,
Because
but
of
Nintendo on the
controlling.
servers are always kind of.
That's true. That's true.
We'll
That's
see.
true. We'll see.
We'll get there.
Some of it's
We'll
the
get there.
nostalgia hype. Some of it's just, hey, I'm glad it's coming out for like the 20th time. All right, so the new Jumanji movie's coming out.
No,
It's like
Rick knows more
If
about
you
this
haven't
one.
noticed already, Jumanji.
Oh,
The
man.
next generation, Gen 3 of Pokemon, have finally been released on Friday, I think it was.
They keep on coming. Leo.
With that, Ho-Ho was the next
Ho-Ho.
legendary that was out there. This just kind of sweetens the deal of trying to get back out there. And I got to admit, I was starting to hit that wall again where I was kind of like, playing Pokemon Go.
Not
It's like,
interested.
and then Gen 3 comes out and I'm like, yes.
But the
So-
cool feature about this, Rick, what is the cool feature about this?
The weather.
update? Mhm.
They finally implemented more of what the actual gameplay on like the Game Boy and all that other stuff, what it does in the actual game. So depending on the weather, it affects the moveset of the Pokemon that you carry.
And the Pokemon you find as well.
Oh, exactly. So assuming you're out and about in the city, nice sunny day, you're gonna run into more, I think it's rock type,
Rock
fire
type,
type, and grass type.
Grass, yes.
I think. So
When it
you'll
starts
catch
raining.
those more water-based Pokemon.
And electric.
That's very awesome. But here where we live, we don't get that much rain.
That is true.
We
That
don't-
is true. I
We
didn't think
don't.
of
We
that.
don't
don't
get
get
the
snow.
seasons.
We don't get
the
snow.
seasons like other people.
Yeah.
We don't get snow.
But from what I was listening to is we'll still have those opportunities at those Pokemon. It's just gonna be the
Random.
algorithm is gonna be set so that it's less frequent for us to get. 'em.
Yes, but that's gonna make it a little bit harsh for
Mm.
someone that wants to collect a specific Pokemon.
Well, obviously,
True.
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
gonna suck, but at the
it's
same
part of
time,
the-
it makes it more challenging.
It's part of
which
the immersion.
I'm all
in the
for.
game.
I'm all for.
Yeah, those people at Niantic now want you to travel a lot, not
Yeah.
just get out of your
I mean-
house. But they want you to travel.
Essentially,
Seriously.
though,
Moving on.
essentially that was the gist of the game to begin with. But
So guys, the deal is done unofficially. Disney has bought 20th Century Fox. They still have to finalize the paperwork, meet with the bankers, see what gets what, but it's essentially a done deal. We're gonna get the X-Men in the MCU.
yay!
We are gonna get the Fox properties to join Iron Man, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, what have you. We will
Yay!
finally get those in the MCU. But here's the interesting thing about that deal, though, and we'll get to Logan. The reason why we're showing Logan here, we'll get to that.
It's a little teaser.
But the Fantastic Four are not included in that deal.
Aww.
I was telling that to Rick earlier when I got here, and he's like, "Well, didn't
They
the-
pretty
don't-
much ruined that franchise
but
anyway.
Still, though, but don't they own? Doesn't Fox own Fantastic Four? No, they don't. He's like, who owns them? And I said, a German guy. Yes. So back in the 80s, when Marvel was selling off all their properties because they were in trouble financially, and Universal bought some, Fox bought others, and Paramount, whatever, etc. Fox opted in to get the X-Men, but not the Fantastic Four. Instead, it was this guy. It was actually a company, a producing company that it wasn't that big of a movie studio, but they bought the Fantastic Four. Now, as you know, you have certain time to make a movie or lose the license. And these guys made a Fantastic Four movie in the early 90s, 93 or 94,
Hey, I remember that one.
that was so bad. It was so bad that somebody, before it got released, this German guy that I'm talking about, bought the rights to those movies, bought every single one of those movies before it got released, so that it wouldn't see the day,
the light of day.
the light of day.
Wow.
And he now owns the Fantastic Four. But of course, again, the whole idea, if you don't sell or you don't make a movie within so many times, you lose the license. So he got associated with Fox. He is a producer, owns the Fantastic Four. Fox, please make movies. And so they did. And that is the whole idea behind that. Now, the deal with Disney and Fox does not include the Fantastic Four. This guy still owns the rights to them.
Nice.
But if Disney really wanted to, they can ask them. It's like, hey, you gotta make a movie. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And he has no more partners. Fox is
Right.
gone.
Because Fox
So
is no longer in the picture. Exactly.
they're
so-
saying that probably he will end up selling to Disney anyway.
Yeah, but
They're
if
gonna strong arm him.
But if they're gonna play it out like that, I mean, what the last Fantastic
They're
Four
gonna
came
strong
out
arm
what
him, and then
2,
he's
3
gonna
years
end up
ago.
suing for monopoly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, they're
we're
gonna fight.
we're looking at like another 7 to 8 years before something like that actually takes effect. By then, the MCU is gonna be long and forgotten of the Fantastic Four, which kind of sucks. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of them, but I know they do belong in there.
The
and it's,
villain, though, Doctor
Dr.
Doom,
Doom.
he's one of the best villains in the MCU.
See,
well,
the
not in the MCU, but in the Marvel
the
universe.
thing is, it's kind of like one of those collection things.
Mhm.
It's nice when you have the full set.
Exactly. So we were showing Logan. Why were we showing Logan, Drake? And I'm
So,
pissed about this.
I know. So last week we were, going through the whole Fox being purchased by Disney. We're all stoked, X-Men and blah blah blah, and we heard the rumor that what's his name, Hugh Jackman had mentioned that he would not reprise his role unless it was now in the MCU, like more involved with the Avengers. So when all this started happening, we're like, yes, Wolverine, he's coming back, and all this stuff was coming up about him being the next Wolverine again, and blah blah blah. Couple hours ago,
Couple hours ago, we just found out.
we just
Breaking
found
news.
out. No, he said basically saying he had his fun with the role. He did his part, and he would enjoy basically passing the mantle on to
Somebody
somebody
else.
Yep,
So
deservedly so.
He's confirmed
Tom
it.
Hardy, we're looking at you, buddy.
He would be a good Wolverine.
Yeah, but he's
still.
already, if it goes through, he's doing the Venom of Spider-Man. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's like a
it's an
parallel
alternate,
universe.
yeah, but still, I hate when they do that.
Oh, what's his name? Captain
Brothers
America.
gotta make a living.
Chris
Evans?
Pratt.
He sent out a tweet saying like, well, now that the Disney Fox merger is happening, who can I talk to about having a body cop movie with the Human Torch and Captain America?
Yeah, because he did both roles.
Yep.
See, that one, that's exactly when that happened. It was kind of like, but he was the Human Torch. But you know what? Avengers basically, went at a different angle. Kind of.
And to the MCU, those Fantastic Four never existed. So
yeah, but just in memory, you remember, he was a Human Torch.
I think Rick's being a little nitpicky
but
on this.
But the success of the Avengers,
let go, Rick.
It made it so that doesn't even bother me anymore. The one thing right now that's still pending on me is
Hulk.
Brolin. What's his name? John Brolin.
Oh, Josh Brolin as Deadpool.
Thanos.
And,
Cable. And Thanos.
Yeah.
So he voices Thanos, and it resembles his face.
And that's another thing.
Deadpool. He is the Eddie Murphy of the MCU.
Deadpool is a property owned by Fox that will go into Disney.
Right.
So Disney can effectively take Ryan Reynolds and introduce him into the
as
MCU,
Deadpool into MCU,
or start out brand new. We don't know.
I would hate
it would
for
be
them.
A travesty.
I know that's what I was saying too. Is that
to be changed.
they took so long to find the perfect Deadpool. And Ryan Reynolds is. I mean,
the Deadpool character is not an easy character to pull off.
No, so
he's got it down good. It would be a shame if it was changed.
If you really think about it, he's like Joker. Joker is so complex in his personality that it's really difficult to pull off. It's been very rare, I would say, that somebody effectively pulls him off. I would even argue that only one person has been able to pull off the Joker in his true essence, and that was for The Dark Knight.
But now tell me, what do you guys think when Disney will probably not make a rated R Deadpool anymore?
They have to.
They have to, but they're not going to. That's the problem.
Disney's made rated R films before.
Not with their Disney brand.
Not directly with
That's what I mean.
But they're still going to keep making these movies under the Fox brand, aren't they?
No. At least with the Marvel characters are concerned, those are MCU now. Those
so
will be Marvel.
Fox will continue as Fox, but nothing to do with
like
Deadpool
Avatar, Alien, all those properties will still be under the Fox umbrella.
I'm pretty sure
owned by Disney.
They'll be able to figure it out because Deadpool is the #1 grossing rated R film of all time. So they know they got money in the bag. Despite the rating.
You know that the fans are going to argue that you have to keep Deadpool as is, but Disney's a wholesome company, family company, where they're not going to try and do that.
That's an unforced error waiting to happen.
Well, we'll see because Deadpool 2 is already going to come out, and that's Fox. So that's going to be expected glory.
That will be released, and that's
when that finishes.
They'll probably end it.
They'll probably end it there and say, Deadpool had his run. He had his part 1, part 2. Now he's going to be the MCU. He's going to be more, watered down. He's not going to be as gory or as violent or, some profanity, not as much as in the other movies, and leave it at that. So they'll have the character for the nostalgia factor, for the fanboys that want Deadpool. He'll be there, but he's not going to be the full-on, full-blown Deadpool like we're used to.
Guys, I have a question for you. What's
Ask
better than the MCU? The SWU, yeah, baby, that's right.
Some
Star Wars.
I'm not feeling it, guys. I gotta be honest with you.
You went backwards on that one because this.
when The Force Awakens was announced, I was stoked. You remember that? I was so happy that they were making more Star Wars. But then I saw that movie, and I will say it's not a bad movie, but it's way too similar to the original trilogy. And we heard the complaints from the fanboys when the prequels were released. Oh, this is nothing like Star Wars. Oh, we gotta be more like Star Wars, meaning the classic trilogy. And so I guess Disney's response to that was Force Awakens. So I liked it, but I'm like, it's been done. So now I'm afraid because I don't know what to expect from The Last Jedi, even though the premiere was 2 days ago and everybody seems to love it. I've been reading tweets about people who have seen it, and somebody in particular, I can't remember that person's name. She's a really, really well-known critic. She said something along the words of, there's a scene in this movie that I keep replaying in my head, and I would have never imagined that in my wildest dreams that was going to happen, and it keeps bugging me. This is a great movie. That gives me a glimmer of hope. But still, I will tell you, I'm not feeling it.
Hope.
I'm not feeling it. I will wait until I watch it.
So the third and final has to be directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
The twist.
We need the twist.
And it's actually going to be J.J.
Luke
Abrams.
wakes up.
He takes out the director.
I was
comes out as the
J.J.
cameo.
Abrams. I don't know. What do you think, Leo? You're a Star Wars fan.
I think that kid from The Sixth Sense is going to suddenly tell Bruce Willis, I see dead people. He's going to see all the old Jedis.
The ghosts.
Come out.
The ghosts. The Force ghosts.
And they're going to
oh, man.
they're going to tell him like how to fix their lives, like their unfinished business. And it's going to be a big, dark, serious film. with almost no action in it, just like The Sixth
Awesome.
Sense.
Yeah.
It's gonna be called The Jedi Sense.
The Jedi Sense. The Sixth Sense. There.
No, you know
The
what
Force?
though? They had my movie theater ticket before they even had to announce.
Well,
this
I'll
film.
still watch it.
I'm gonna go
you know?
see it, but
They had you at
I
the-
don't have the same expectations that I had 2 years ago for episode 7,
Oh, yeah.
where I was just like hyped to the max. From scale of 1 to 10, I was at an 11.
Like the
This, I'm
max?
just kind of like, I'm gonna go see it,
Yeah.
and I will enjoy it, regardless of whether it's a good or bad film.
I could just imagine you in the chair like I'm gonna enjoy.
I have to enjoy this.
I'm gonna force myself to enjoy
It's
it.
like it's failing on all
man.
items of your checklist, but you're like,
We'll
I'm
see.
gonna enjoy it.
Warner Brothers
This
is
I'm more
doing
excited about.
things with Steven Spielberg that are making me genuinely excited. Oh my goodness!
See, that's the
I am
hype. That's what I'm
pumped.
talking
I am
about.
pumped for
I
this
want
one
it
right
for
here.
Star Wars.
I am pumped.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio, 2045. Tell us, Punch.
Well, this is a book that Leo and
One
myself
Punch.
read like 3-4 years ago when it came out.
Like
I
3 or
start-
4 times.
I know. I started reading it, and I tell
Great-
Rick
great
and Leo,
film.
guys, you gotta get on this. Rick is like, nah. Leo's like, all right, I'll give it a whirl.
I'll bite.
And
I think I end up actually, even though I started it
he
after
finished
you,
it.
I
He finished it before. Yeah.
It's like 3 nights later. It's like,
Yeah. This book, this story is amazing. Imagine Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the future with virtual reality. That's what this is, and it's a huge, amazing egg hunt to find control or get the control of this oasis, as it's called. It's like this huge community, virtual community, where everybody goes to escape because Earth has just gone to the crappers. It's not a good place to live, and so they rely on technology to pretty much feel happy, some sort of happiness. And it's just amazing because it's set around the 80s theme, because the creator of the Oasis was born during the 80s, so he's obsessed with the 80s, and there's a lot of references of the 80s around this Oasis, and we see a lot of amazing references to 80s movies.
Mm-hmm. I just enjoy the fact that they're throughout the different decades of time. You see different characters from different eras, for different games, from different genres, all kind of combined in here. I was telling Pancho that the main character, his avatar looks like
Thank you,
Final
Mr.
Fantasy
Spielberg.
character,
Oh yeah,
which
thank
looks
you.
kind of cool. Looks amazing. And then we saw Tracer in there. We saw Chun-Li in there. So it's just cool. It's amazing that you just get a collaboration of all this stuff. It kind of reminded me when Wreck-It Ralph came out.
Yeah.
When you saw like all those characters,
The
you were like,
Nintendo, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
this is that to the max.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is that times 100.
times
I mean,
100.
there's
Yeah, no,
Chucky,
really,
the evil
really.
doll as well.
There's even characters
Chucky.
in it that did not exist
Yeah,
yet.
I
I know,
when the
like
book
Tracer.
came out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Choquita,
I'm absolutely
That's what I was gonna say. Is that
100% stoked about this. Amblin
Spielberg-
Entertainment.
Spielberg had
Brothers.
that vision that even though those
Spielberg.
characters were not in the
Spielberg.
story originally, but they are now part of pop culture, he's like, yeah, let's put them in.
Yeah, just throw them in there.
Yeah,
This is gonna end up being the Schindler's List of gamers.
but in a good way, not sad way.
I mean, like the masterpiece,
Oh,
like
okay,
the
yeah,
masterpiece
okay,
of a
good.
film.
Okay,
You know?
yeah, I guess
Thank-
we have to
you
specify
kindly.
here.
Yeah, you're kind.
Yeah,
I'm stoked.
Yeah,
for
that
this
needed
film,
some
man.
clarification there. At the end,
Yeah,
so.
and I'll be honest with you, I have avoided trying to like focus on any trailers for this,
mm-hmm.
just because.
Oh, I've been
it's
watching
one of
this
those.
like 20 times already.
Yeah. Oh man. Like I mean I can see it right now. We have
Mhm.
it off screen here, but
Mhm.
or behind there.
Mhm.
And I'm
And our
stoked,
projector.
man. I'm stoked. I'm stoked even without saying it, man. All these
I mean, you
pictures.
see the Iron Giant, you see Back to the Future,
Yep,
you see
yep.
the Battletoads, you
Yep.
see Street Fighter characters. I mean, Chucky, like we said earlier, it's insane. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm stoked. This is what I should be feeling for Star Wars, but I'm feeling it for this movie instead.
Yeah,
What's the
man.
date on this? When's it coming out?
Next year, May
Oh.
May or June, I believe. They'll say it at the end.
We'll see it at the very end. And Infinity Wars comes out when?
May.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's going to be such a great year for movies.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be amazing because in the sense that, you get one of those years where it's a good year where it's like movie after movie after movie after movie. And those are rare. They only happen like every other year or every 2-3 years. And
Yep, yep.
it seems like 2018 is going to be that
See,
year.
the funny thing is though, when the movies come out like that, usually they come out in groups, right? Like you get
yeah.
like the same genre, 2 or 3 different films coming out more or less around the same time.
Right.
No, this is kind of spread out, but 2 different genres, amazing movies.
Mhm. Exactly. I'm excited.
My
guys.
focus is like split two ways here. Like I don't know. Can't
Oh,
decide.
and I still have like 3 or 4 movies to go through from this year, so it's like I have to see Thor, Coco.
Movie backlog.
What's another movie that we were supposed to be
Justice
watching?
League.
Just you know, I will still want to see
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but
I'm
you
sure
know,
I'm gonna watch it. I'm sure I'm gonna watch it.
So yeah,
I will enjoy it.
I will enjoy it, and I will like it.
Oh yes, I will. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we also mentioned that we would bring you some of the latest announcements from the Video Game Awards and also
We
from,
didn't mention.
from PAX.
Leo, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Facts.
we got a new trailer
All
that
right.
came out. I'm just gonna kind of like machine gun this because it's too much. They gave us a great wealth of stuff, and a lot of other channels have probably already covered a
Cover
lot
most
of
of it.
But
Plethora.
yeah, we got a new Death Stranding trailer.
Oh.
I
saw
it's
it.
still a
That
long ways
thing
away.
Was
It's still loony, man. It's still loony.
you would think that
They
as
were-
time goes on, it starts answering questions. This just
No.
brings up more questions.
Yeah,
Hideo
it's crazy.
Kojima is just crazy. Let's
Hideo
just say that.
Kojima, Benicio del Toro.
For the ones that haven't
It's
seen
crazy.
it, the part that tripped me up the most was inside the
The
mouth,
baby.
down into the
Oh, yeah.
stomach. The baby's like, basically, and it,
That's
you know,
crazy.
Yeah.
what the heck was
I
that?
don't know.
Also, a new World War Z trailer for not the movie, the game. Based on the movie. It's a really relatively unknown developer.
We get to control.
So
Brad
we don't
Pitt.
know if it's gonna be very good at all. The graphics look a little bit dated, but the premise of it looks kind of cool. Kind of like
Alright.
Days.
Oh, the
Z.
movie. The movie was awesome. So
All right.
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
I agree. The one game that really surprised me, is called I just drew a blank. I'm sorry, guys.
Pac-Man.
I think it was like it was a not safe for work game. I think that's what it was called.
Fractured
NSFW or something like that,
Oh.
or OMFG. I forgot the exact title of it,
work time fun.
but
LMAO.
this game was insane. Like the characters in it from the creators of Rick and Morty,
Okay.
and the humor
Also
in it
creator
was
of Community.
completely insane. Community, what's that?
It's a TV show that you will actually like if you watch. That's where
Chris Pratt.
no
That's
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
No, Community is about setting a junior college, and it's like 5 or 6 friends who are completely different. And Chevy Chase is in it. He's the older student, and then we have like your young 18, 19-year-old kids that are just enrolling in college, and it's funny. It's by the same
Okay.
creator of Rick and Morty,
Nintendo that same night announced the new expansion to the new Zelda game, and
which I already
He's
have.
gonna have a dirt bike apparently.
I already
so
had
it looks
that
pretty
bike,
cool.
too.
Awesome.
So he got a
Um,
Mario Kart bike.
Pretty much.
It
In a
looks
sense,
different.
all right.
It's a little
But yeah.
different,
All
but
right. All right.
in essence, that's kind of what he got.
Sounds
We
good.
also got after what, like 6 years, maybe a little more, a new Soul Calibur game.
Oh,
Rick,
that's
does a
right.
soul still
Old
burn?
news.
Is it 5 or 6? Is it
6.
6?
Soul Calibur 6.
The
My
soul still
goodness.
burns.
It still burns for me. I
That
got
was-
pretty excited. Then I saw the graphics and I was like, ooh, they look
Mm.
kind of old, but
Mm.
I'm probably still gonna buy it.
That was. Remember Soul Calibur 3? That was like the Bring It game before Bring It existed.
Soul
yeah.
Calibur 2 on Dreamcast.
Was it 2?
His little sister
Two.
will play too, and she will just be mashing buttons and beat us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo bringing it yet again. They're porting
Bring
over
it.
the Bayonetta 1 and 2 games to the Nintendo
Eh,
Switch, which
That's
is
a cop out.
pretty cool. I mean,
Me.
you might as well bring in all your
Just
most
still
popular
DLC.
games. Might as well bring in all your biggest games that were on Wii U that nobody played because
Mm.
it was the Wii U.
Because it was the Wii U.
Yeah, actually nothing wrong
Yeah.
with ports as long as that's not all they're bringing. But the next part of what I'm about to say goes along with that.
Secretive.
That's not all they're bringing. They're
Then
bringing
say it.
Bayonetta 3 to the
Oh,
Switch.
okay.
Big announcements. Great games.
I never played them.
Action-filled games. I think they were the developers of the Devil May Cry
Yep.
series.
Mhm.
So they play very similar to those,
Yep.
which are excellent games in their own right.
I love Devil May Cry.
Yeah, man. I'm
Devil Never
loving
Cry?
all this, man. I'm loving all this.
Sounds cool.
New Mega Man game coming out.
Oh, that one looks.
Oh, that is a brand new Mega
11,
Man.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
New
Mega Man 11?
Yeah, Mega Man
Yep.
11 coming out.
None of this
That looks.
mighty number 9 thing.
Yeah.
That was just.
This
oh.
is legit Mega Man. This
So
is,
the guy directing Mega Man, he has been in Capcom since the early 90s.
So he knows.
But
He
he
has
has
to
never
know.
gotten a chance to work on a Mega Man title.
Okay.
He had always, in an interview he gave, I forgot the source, but in an interview he gave, he mentioned that
Wait, comment.
He had always dreamed
it's not showing up.
of working on a Mega Man
Rick
game,
didn't do a good job.
and this is his
I
first
follow
opportunity to do
instructions.
so. So
That's cool.
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm actually
As a
stoked about
fan.
the Mega Man game. I've loved the Mega Man from the get go. Those games are like the OG, hardcore,
And
extreme
they're
levels.
difficult.
And this guy also
Flip.
mentioned, or you know, when I think it was Game Informer's guys, editors, they went to go see this demo in Japan firsthand, and we're talking to the director.
But we're blown away.
At some point, he mentioned that that he never got a chance to work on it because he had to work on other titles, and he something very interesting. He mentioned working on Resident Evil for the Super Nintendo,
Oh, I heard that too. I
Yeah.
read about
Super
that. Super
Nintendo,
before the
wow.
PlayStation.
and it wasn't even called Resident Evil yet. It
Yeah.
was like called like something about hell, you know.
Mhm.
Like,
I remember that. yeah,
Haunted
so-
Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. Yeah, but obviously it's because they had a partnership, remember, with Sony where they were developing the CD-ROM, and then Nintendo pretty much kind of backstabbed
John's
Sony.
watching us. Yes, we already talked about the Ready Player One trailer.
Sean,
Rewind the
Thumbs up
tape
on that.
about
Rewind the
5 to 8 minutes.
just wait until we're done and then it'll be available. You can watch us again. But yeah, no, so the Super Nintendo, that was going to be the Nintendo
Imagine-
PlayStation.
Imagine what it would look like if it came out on Super Nintendo.
But like I said, I think they were developing for the PlayStation.
No,
yeah.
I know, but I mean, I'm just thinking, like, imagine you take that game, you know, PS1 and all, how it looked like, but put it on a Super Nintendo.
They did a Game Boy Resident Evil port, Rick. I don't know if you remember that.
No,
They did.
really?
Yes.
What the heck?
Yes.
From what I
Game
understand,
Boy,
the
huh?
game they were developing was not even anything that looks like what Resident
Well,
Evil
no, I'm
ended
sure it
up
was
looking like.
basically all concept and
Yeah, it was kind of like an escape from hell type of game.
nice.
And
Doom.
It ended up that concept evolved into what we now know as Biohazard,
Nice.
Resident Evil.
Nice.
So yeah, that's really
Funny
cool.
how things work out.
Also, now this is big
Also.
news for me because I'm a huge Kratos God of War fan.
Huge.
I like Kratos too.
One, yeah. Oh yeah, you do.
yeah,
you
dude.
probably played more
was-
than I did. Even.
That was the most wimpiest love affection for Kratos I've ever. I love Kratos too.
Look, look. Check
It
this
was
out,
just a
dude.
very romantic way.
Check
of
this
doing
out. So I came to visit. I think it was at Christmas back in 2003 or 4, and this guy talks to me about God of War on the PlayStation 2. I'm like, oh, that's a cool game, whatever. I never got a PS2, but then later on, when I got my PS3, I got the collection 1, 2, and 3. Well, 1 and 2, and then I bought 3 separate. Look, platinum trophies in all 3 games. I was that.
Yeah,
insane.
he
I've-
platinum.
I've only
and I
played
have
part
to say,
1.
I got into it because of Rick. Like Rick
And Rick doesn't
mentioned it.
even care. He
I
cares
played
less.
part 1.
So it was
I
kind of
was
like
this game
one of
was
those,
amazing.
It was one of those Russia dolls where he's like, boop, you open up another one, boop, another one, boop. That was us with God of War.
So I think a little backstory on that. What happened to me because I played the first one and I
Right.
loved it. And it was awesome. It was amazing. But when the second one came out, that was around the time that my PS2 broke down.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't
You're like,
play
stop
PS2
playing,
for like the
whatever.
longest time. And by the time I got it fixed, PS3 I think was already out. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just playing my old games, you know, just for fun, basically. and yeah, so I just missed out. And then
man,
you know,
missed out. That's a great game.
backlog.
Oh
It's-
my goodness.
It's in there somewhere, I think.
Francisco, I think you have there's a question that you'd probably be best suited for.
Chime in.
answering.
Yeah, Sean is asking if we have our show available as a podcast. We do, Sean. We are a little behind right now because we're getting clear of all of our storage.
Other junk.
But yeah, I think we're up to like episode 80 something right now. We're over 100 right now, so we're getting there. But yeah, all of the other past episodes are available as a podcast. You can find us on iTunes. Go to digitalgametime.com, and right there to the right, you'll see the menu, and it says,
Not really.
podcast right there, or subscribe on iTunes, something like that. And you can also subscribe on Android as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
There you go.
So anyway,
Not just you,
we're talking
everybody.
about rambling on about God of War, but I
Rambling!
haven't gotten to the news yet.
Oh, that's right.
The
Tell us,
news
tell us.
is that it's gonna be a 30 to almost 40-hour game.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I'm
That's like the
Dang.
average now, though. That's like it
Rick,
has to meet that
Rick,
mark.
No, that's
But is
not,
this like a linear game
that's not the
or
average.
free mode?
That is not the average for this type of game.
No,
though.
that has to be the average now. Should be.
I
agree with this.
I disagree.
Agree with-
I disagree because there's lots of great games that only last you like 6 to 8 hours, and they're still great. They're
Alright.
still great games, but
Resident Evil.
I know most people, the majority of people, would prefer longer games. You know, like like The Last of Us was 30 plus hours. Horizon
Which
Zero
Leo has
Dawn.
never played.
Horizon Zero Dawn was 30 plus hours, and so now we're
Which
gonna
Leo
get
hasn't
a
played.
God of War game that 30
Which Leo
plus
hasn't
hours.
played.
So
That one looks
reminds
cool,
me,
though. It looks
I have
amazing.
to go back and finish the latest God of War. Redemption, Assumption, one
Ascension.
of those. Ascension.
great game also.
I'm
it
halfway.
did not get a lot of love from people, but if you've played God of War before that,
It's
it's
God of
just
War.
more God of War.
Yeah.
I love it.
Isn't that like like a remake of the PS Vita versions or?
No. It's
It originally came
different.
out on PS3, and then it was re-released for PS4.
Oh.
Nice graphics.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that
All right, so that's a cool lineup.
there was quite a bit more announced.
But as Leo said,
those are like the main topics,
Alright.
the main ones that I cared for.
right.
So yeah, man.
Cool.
You know, new trailers for
Lots of games.
man. I'm brain dead right now.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's been
It's
a long
cool.
show. Long
It
day.
is. Long show,
fart.
long
Yeah.
day.
Brain fart.
No, we got a new trailer for The Last of Us 2.
Mhm.
We got a new trailer, I think, for Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days
I wanna
Gone.
say. A new a game was announced for. It's like a 4-player game. You go in as a team into like
Super Mario Kart.
this place where there's like monsters roaming free, and
Gone it.
you're supposed to grab something and try to get out and
Golden
survive.
Axe.
And
Dungeons and Dragons.
that looks really cool, like because it's kind of
Lord of the Rings.
It's like a horror
even a
survival like
That's cool.
like quest type of
co-op.
game, co-op game.
Cool.
yes.
Alright, cool.
So
That
that
sounds
that
cool.
looks really interesting.
Good times.
Nice.
And I think that one's called GTFO.
Is that what you were
Ah.
talking about?
I think that's one of the ones. There were two games that had acronyms that keep confusing or bouncing back in my mind back and forth.
Oh man.
So
Good old Leo.
yeah.
It comes back in the end.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more. It's too much for my little brain to remember, but
Click next.
I
think
do
that's
see
it.
Steam starting to come out.
Yeah,
so
it's already starting to hurt you a bit.
it's
Next
hurting
was
to
just-
think.
We don't
We don't
next.
have any
I
more.
think that was it.
That's
bro.
all you
That
guys
was
loaded
it?
up for us.
I think that's it.
When we're gonna talk about the new PUBG controller scheme.
We can. I mean, we kind of went
Not-
over it
not
already,
so much the
but
controller, but just like
Xbox One.
it was released. PUBG finally got its release on home consoles. Actually, just Xbox One exclusive,
Mhm.
timed exclusive for the time. being.
Timed.
We're expecting to have a PS4 release
You know-
later in 2018.
you know what
And,
the funny part about all this is? Now that it's official release, it's not early access no more. They're finally on test servers,
Mhm.
which I don't think Xbox has access to. I
No.
think it's just all PC players can play the new map.
The new map.
The-
Yeah.
Yeah, that new map is the other big announcement from the Video Game Awards. We all knew it was coming, but they
Yeah.
actually showed it off.
Yeah.
And
So it's live on the test servers.
It looks pretty dope.
Couldn't
man.
connect
It's like
earlier anyway.
It looks
They-
like a California desert.
They have they give it a little bit of a lift on the look, so it's a little bit more appealing, a little bit more realistic.
And they said they were gonna work on textures as well to make
A lot
them
of-
more appeal.
A lot of textures,
Building.
fonts were updated, so a lot of little things. I was telling Francisco actually, the intro now is not just the background that we're all the music.
We
Now
have
it sounds like
Avengers
now it sounds like an
music.
Avengers movie.
See you
Yeah.
at the
Thing.
island.
They changed fonts. They changed the intro music.
See, but none of that's
But,
available to the console players.
not
This
yet,
is just
not
all
yet. We're the
PC.
guinea pigs.
So it's just kind of funny. That's like, okay, here you guys can finally play.
But not the
Back
cool
to the
stuff.
PC
you
Master
know?
Race.
Back to PC Master Race. Give you first dibs on all this stuff.
It's
Yeah.
kind of sad, but kind of funny.
I like it, man. We need more PUBG in our life.
PUBG.
More PUBG.
More PUBG in our life. Francisco's excited about the new controllers.
Well,
I'll let you have your moment in the sun.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's gonna make it to the actual PC game. They're talking about, of course, allow the disparity between keyboard and mouse versus controller. It's not gonna be a fair fight per se. But they're talking about maybe adjusting sensitivity or giving a control assist, aim assist to the controller people. So it's gonna be actually kind of like GTA, where you like click your trigger to aim and automatically aims to the person. So that'll make it fair. But they're also thinking that PC players are gonna complain like, "Whoa, you're giving them a automatic target."
It technically
so
is, yeah, because I
going
mean
to be-
the way that I would
They-
see it is, even though you can adjust the DPI on your mouse to make it
Mhm.
more to your level, right, how you like to turn and whatnot, you still have to practice your movement to aim to that person.
Of course.
So it is a handicap.
I'll have to say this: despite the aim assist, it's still unfair in the favor of mouse and keyboard players.
Well,
because they've had this already for
many months,
more than a decade, where. With the Call of Duty games, they've tried all that stuff to try to make it a little bit more fair, but
their solution
is always in favor of mouse and keyboard players.
Their solution is that ultimately, so to keep people happy, if you go in with a controller, you can only play against people with a controller.
Okay.
If you go in with the mouse and keyboard, only with people with mouse and keyboard.
And that makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, that does make sense.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of DGT Live, coming at you straight from the Central Coast of California. This is your family-friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture. Until next time, I'm Leo with
Rick
and
Francisco.
Enjoy your games, love your families. Ciao!
It's Daddy's game time.